Welcome back. I'm going to talk about the five biggest mistakes I've made over the last 5 years. And sometimes I think I still make a lot of the mistakes, but not all of them all the time. Like just reflecting on this week, I actually had a bad week because I had taken 4 trades this week from Monday to Thursday. Didn't take any trade on Friday, but I had 3 losses and 1 win. And basically, I'm down. I'm in drawdown because of this. So it was a bad week. But at the end of the day, in terms of the process, it was a bad week on the profit side. But in terms of the process, I think I followed the process. So, like one of my rules is to take only 1 trade per day, and I did that. Some days I was tempted to take more trades, but I stuck out with that. So I think that's a win for me this week in regards to trading, and it's not a situation where it's a bad week per se, because I would have followed my rule, etc. I would have learned a few lessons and, just ready to move on in the upcoming week, following my strategy, trying to test it, back test it, etc. All right. So I'm going to go into five thing that 5 mistakes that I made over the last 5 years. So one is over trading too much. I realized that, when you take less trades, it's actually more profitable than taking a lot of trades. All right. So for instance, if you have a strategy of 1-to-1 average risk to reward, it doesn't make sense you take more than 1 to 2 trades per day, because guess what? Whenever you take a lot of trades, it's going to be hard to actually recover if you actually win a trade. So if you lose 2 trades today and you aiming for 1 to 2, tomorrow if you win that trade, then you about break even, right? So if you're taking a ton load of trade, it's going to be difficult to get back, and it's going to affect your emotional well-being, because as human, it's very difficult for us to make multiple um, decisions per day, especially when it relates to money, right? So I realize in myself as well, if I take 1 trade and I lose, sometimes it kind of makes me feel away. So it's not ethical, or it's not sensible for me to go back into the market to enter in another trade. I might just, go on tilt, right? So the second mistake that I would have made in the early days of my 5 year journey so far is risk management. So I used to just risk any amount. I used to risk percentage, but now I stopped risking percentage. I tend to risk a fixed amount. So if I have an account which is like $100 US, I'll risk a fixed amount. Say it's $1, I'm risking $5. And if it's a $500, you risk $5. You try to risk the 1%, but let the 1% be uh, a fixed monetary amount, because guess what? You want to be able to track how you're doing as you go up in profits, as you go down. You want to be able to track that properly. And risk management tend to save you at the end of the day, because it helps you to avoid blowing accounts. There's many times I have accounts, like funded accounts, and I'm trying out, and I have them for a very long time. And the only reason why I hold them for a long time is because I'm using proper risk management. So that was one of my mistakes, not having good risk management. But I've seen that risk management helps you to avoid blowing account, and it kind of give you that edge for a longer time than someone who's not actually applying any sort of risk management. So on to the third thing is system hopping. This is the one that beat me a lot, system hopping. And sometimes when you lose about 3 trade, you just feel like, oh, I'm not trading right, or I need to do something else to improve my strategy. So I had that problem. I switched from a lot of different strategies, but at the end of the day, I haven't seen any major success with any of them back in the past. So one of the things I'm working on currently is to just focus on one strategy, focus on repetition, and not see trading for just 1 to 3 trades, but a series of trade over a period of time. Also documenting these trades so that you could look back over 50 trades and say, okay, over 50 trade, I've been following my plan, and nothing is happening. Then you would, you could make a decision to say whether or not you would tweak something, etc. So I think strategy hopping is one of those major mistakes that had me going, and it's like you're always chasing for that holy grail. All right, and in trading there's no holy grail. You know it took a while to realize that there will always be losses, no matter what type of strategy, no matter what strategy you have, or level of trading you at. The next one is trading with emotion. I just mentioned taking 3 trades. Sometimes you tend to get, if you take 3 losses, you tend to get a bit emotional. If I take 1 loss or 2 losses in a day, you tend to get a bit emotional and tend to try to trade just to make back the money that you would have lost. So I think that trading with emotion is something that I would have struggled with, because sometimes you take a trade, you risk, let me say 1%, or let me say you risk $20, and then you lose that, and then because you want to make back the $20 plus more, you probably might risk a 50, or you might just go full port and the whole account, risking it all in like a gambler. All right, so definitely trading with emotion. It's important to be mindful of how many decisions you can make per day as it relates to trading, and try to walk away from the charts. Try to find something else to do outside of trading, so that you're not basically associating your your image or your ability based on the results that you're getting in trading. All right. The next one is the next mistake, which is the 5th mistake that I've made over the 5-year journey, is not journaling. So within the last 2 years or year and a half, I've been journaling on and off, and I find that I'm doing much better when I journal. So when I journal, I'm able to go back and I'm able to see which trades I've made mistakes on, which trade I'm doing good on, where can I make a tweak, etc., etc. So I think if you're avoiding journaling or ignoring journaling, that's a major mistake, and that's something that I had to learn from, right? And journaling might seem like a task, but the thing is, once you take less trades, all right, or only A+ trades, then basically you won't have that much to journal at the end of the day. So that's the importance of taking less trade in a sense, and ensuring that you journal to to look back and see where you're going. All right. So that's it from me this week. I'm trying to be more consistent with documenting. That's been something that I've been trying to keep up with within the last 2 weeks. It's been very difficult, but these mistakes cost me a lot of time, and I'm hoping to work on them. I'm not perfect at the moment, but just working along my trading journey to become better. So I hope that these are some things that you guys could probably learn from, but at the end of the day, I'm just doing this so that when I look back a year from now, I could see where I'm at and where I was, you know. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching, whoever's watching, thank you for watching, and see you next time.